Okay, Mike Masato, CEO of Staff Driven Dental and the Dental Road Warrior, turning for episode 112 in the series. So there's an old expression that some of you may have heard, and it's a play on words, and it goes like this: denial ain't just a river in Egypt, right? So basically, I want to talk a little bit about denial, not the river, actually, in Egypt. I want to talk about denial as something that we do to ourselves, which keeps us being the best we can possibly be, personally, professionally, in life. Right? It's definitely a thing that is in all of us to one degree or another, and it especially comes into play when I'm approached with doctors looking to get help. This is for you doctors out there who may be thinking about getting help. So first of all, it's not a bad thing to get help. I think everybody out there listening to this, who's watching this, at some point or another has gotten or reached out to someone for help in life. Not a bad thing to do, right? It's just not an existence that we can go through it ourselves and just do it all alone. For example, when you wanted to get down the path of become a dentist, you needed to reach out to get some help to get into dental school, and then when you got there, someone had to teach you everything. You didn't go in there knowing it all already, and you had to allow help into your life and to be coachable and trainable in order to learn what you know now and get good at it, right? And since that time, all of you have spent thousands of hours clinically to improve your skill set, and you've invested in that because you see the need to do this to get better. Well, look, it's not a one-track life in business. To develop yourself, there are many facets to running and owning a successful dental practice. And if the only determining factor was how good you are chairside, everybody listening to this would be multimillionaires, right? The money would just come because you're just great at what you do clinically. But unfortunately, it's all the other stuff that we deal with every single day related to the business and people part of what you do that drag us down and prevent us from being better, which is where the work that I come in, comes in. And I've done this for a long, long time. I'm starting my 27th year this year in 2023 doing this. I've worked with hundreds of doctors over the years, very successfully. I'm very proud of my track record. But the challenging thing is not everybody that I talk to signs up at this program, or any program for that matter, right? And these are people that, doctors that I meet that seem well-intentioned, that they really want to do a program or get involved, and the conversation starts. And as you get into the conversation, you can tell that there's something there holding them back, right? And then we use money as an excuse, right? Money's always a justification, but it's not the money. 80% of the people that tell you, I don't have the money, are saying, I have the money, I just don't want to give it to you. Because for every one of those conversations I have, I'll go to one of these doctor's practices and they said, they'll make a priority to buy a laser or buy a scanner or buy something else at six figures with a drop of a hat, which basically in and of itself doesn't do anything for the practice except sit there and depreciate, basically, unless it's used and as part of a system and implemented and to full effect, and we can sell it as part of what it is we have there, our technology and our treatment to use the technology. It is more than anything, but we see it as a necessity. We love the toys, etc. I think the difficult thing is when someone's bringing you help, it's intangible. You can't feel and touch help. You don't get the instant gratification like, hey, the help truck just pulled up out front and they're rolling it out on a pallet and they're going to unwrap it and it's going to be in my office and I can play around with the help in my office. Right? It doesn't work that way. Right? It's a more intangible thing. So it's a difficult business sometimes when I'm in the business of trying to sell help and change and improvement and betterment of people's lives, because there's a trust factor there. Why? Because for every time we've gotten help in life, there's been times in life that what's happened, right? We've been burned, where under the guise of help, someone took advantage of us, basically, or didn't do what they were supposed to do, or did it for their own, purposes, and it wasn't a good thing. We got burned on it, but that's natural. We've all been down that road. We've all got scammed, shafted on something, whatever it may be. But that should not be a barrier for anyone listening to this who's thinking about getting help with their practice from getting help. In my field, I can tell you, in the dental consulting field, I'll be the first to tell you, right? There are a lot of people that do what I do that are not legit. I'm going to be just delicate by saying the whole thing. I've met many people on my travels. I've seen what they do. I've worked with practices that have been the product of bad coaching and bad consulting that I've had to undo before that time. I'm not saying it's a blanket statement that everybody out there is bad. But just like in any field, just like in dentistry, you'll all admit there are good and bad dentists out there. They're not all good. They're just not. And some of them are outright criminal. It's the way it is. It's the way life is. Well, same thing in my field. But if you had a bad experience with consulting or coaching, you know what you do? You don't stop looking for help. You find a better one. You find a good one. If a patient comes to you who had a bad dental experience and their teeth are a mess and they need help and their mouth needs rehab, and they have a health problem, you don't say, well, you better stop because you've been burned before. No, you say, look, you got to find a good one. You got to find somebody who's legitimate, who's going to take care of you and see it through. Right? Well, it's kind of the same thing when it comes to coaching. And I can tell in these interactions with some of these doctors, but it's just so frustrating because I can see how desperately they need help, right? But they don't see it. And my job is to try to make them see it. And we just basically compromise. We accept what we got and we think it's good enough. And that's we live a mediocre, lifestyle, mediocre life and practice. I don't know why we would settle for mediocrity. Why not be better? Why not say, maybe 2023 is going to be the best year I ever have in practice because I'm going to allow people to come into my life that know better than me. And I wouldn't go into a practice and say, I'm going to just take over and do dentistry because I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to dentistry. What's even worse is when we try to justify, like, hey, we know enough and I can muddle through this and figure it out on my own. You can't. If you could, you would have done that already. I get that excuse, I'm going to try it on my own for a while. You've been trying it on your own for a while for many, many years, and this is what you got. Whatever you have there, you got. It's not going to get any better on its own. Nothing changes unless something changes. Right? That's the way nothing changes. Another quote that I've used before: nothing changes and nothing changes. Right? So the denial of yourself is the biggest, not straight operative thinking there possibly can be. Why deny yourself, and not allow yourself? It doesn't mean you just trust blindly in people. Yeah, you do your due diligence, do your investigation. Call me and others to task and say, okay, let's prove it. Let me talk to your references. And I can tell you, anytime when someone talks to one of my references, they're blown away. You know why? Because I didn't say it, they did. Because what other people say about you, it's much more powerful than you say about yourself. I can make it sound great, it's my company. But if you read what other people say, if you read reviews that are out there, and if you talk to doctors that have done the program before, done it before, obviously that trust factor should go up. It's also the kind of agreement that the coach is willing, the consultant is willing to make for you. Any good consultant worth their salt will put their money where their mouth is, and there should be some kind of guarantee of results in the contract, which is what I offer in all my contracts. Otherwise, what are you really selling? Expensive information. I don't sell expensive information. I sell a result. Right? So this goes out to all of you that may be denying yourself help out there or looking for help. I get it. I understand why you do it, but you don't know what it's costing you. I do. Because when we go into offices, we can spend a couple hours in a practice. We do a lot of sometimes an on-site analysis for a couple of hours, just observing in a practice to see what's going on. And it becomes painfully apparent right away because we see everything on the blind spots because we're coming from the outside looking in. And when you're in it, it's hard to see it sometimes, right? Just like a patient, when they don't see anything, they don't get it. So you stick that intraoral camera in their mouth and they go, holy crap, I never knew. It's blown up big and bold. You can't deny it. Well, you can try to. Right? And then they're like, oh, don't make me look at that. Don't be that way about your own practice. That's your money. That's your lifestyle. That's your well-being that you're letting just, again, go away. Not be there anymore. Not be optimal in practice at that point, right? So I hope you get where I'm coming from in this. The reason why I just wanted to share this because I said before, I'm sharing my personal experiences out there because, you're not alone feeling this way as a professional out there. But as I said before, it doesn't make you less of an individual or deficient because I know we're paid to have all the answers, right? But no one has all the answers. You can always be better. You can always improve. Right? And that journey starts by allowing someone in your life, and I cannot tell all the best of the best have coaches. If you're wondering why your colleagues are doing so well, right? Not all luck, right? Something happened there. They have someone in their lives, right, that's making them be as good as they are because they're not figuring it out on their own. They're getting some help back there as well too, right? Just keep that in mind. All the greats have coaches, and maybe you should start thinking about that and getting over what's holding you back to make this year be the best year you could ever have in practice. Appreciate you watching these videos. If you're enjoying these videos, please share them with everybody else. And if you can, you want to leave comments, it'd be great. Or some ideas you'd like to hear in future episodes. And I'll be back with another episode soon. Thanks for watching.